Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pod TV's #1 advocate show, Timeshare, Solution or Surrender, where we have actually been able to provide do-it-yourself solutions for many victims of timeshare's deceptive acts. And I'm very careful to say that because not every timeshare situation is a deceptive act. And that's what Irene Parker has been going out and helping people so that they can turn what should have been an enjoyable vacation and turned into this horror story of forever and ever lifetime debt with a timeshare into a better situation. I want to thank Irene because today is our special edition. We've ran 21 episodes, but today I'm going to let Irene share the story of why we're doing this, because we're doing a little bit of a protest to try to bring awareness and how we all can get involved and how some of the predatory lending that's happening and the problems that it's causing to people that are in the military. Hello, Irene, and hello, Don. Hi.
Hello. Hello.
That's a lot.
I think we have 10 people backstage right now.
Woo!
And you had suggested we should do a reunion show every once in a while. So I think I had no idea how this was going to work. And I'm already feel it's a big success having this many people. I used to give investment seminars and I would remind about 42 times. So it pays off. And we have our TARTA board president, Sheila Brush, with us today. And we have our TARTA secretary, Sherida, and her husband, a Navy veteran, 100% disabled. And so we were this show was supposed to be about protesting the opening of the Queen of Versailles stage play about the 90,000 square foot home, the Westgate family. And I encourage everyone to look at yesterday's show because we had Brooke and Andrew, and I don't know if they're backstage. Or is Brooke and Andrew backstage?
All right, let's see. I'm sure they are. Hold on just a second. I've never had this many. Well, I have, but not in a very long time. One of the things, too, I want to make sure I do is introduce our team and staff and my partner on Pod TV, because they won't be able to stay long because they run other shows. But if it weren't for a good team, we would not be able to do this. I don't see I don't see them yet, but let me bring Mark on. Everyone, I want to introduce Mark. He is one of the directors at Pod TV. Spent a lifetime grew up in radio here in North Carolina. Mark is probably one of the smartest people we have on Pod TV. Every day I hear things I never even knew existed in the world, thanks to Mark. So, Mark runs the World Edition every morning at 10 a.m. I, highly recommend it because you will hear things that no other network talks about. And then, of course, my partner, Nick Palaveda, who's always got his nose in a book. As you can see, the book's behind him. Hi, Nick. Say hi to the
Thank you guys for everything.
Yeah, because without a team, and you don't see them often, but they are there working all the time. Nick, actually helps Irene and I bust a couple of crooks. So Encore Law, Nick was surprised that these people actually call themselves law. So anyway.
They're not crooks. They're ethically challenged individuals.
Well, there you go. That's a new word.
They're definitely ethically challenged. And what Kim didn't tell you, which I admire what you do, Irene, and everything, is that I come not just from the radio background, but I come from a family of activists. Actually, just saw Mom, who shares your birthday, Irene, this past Saturday, and everything along those lines, because both of you are May 26 babies and all along those lines. But definitely she was involved with activism work, whether that was fighting against some of the chemical dumps that took place in rural North Carolina, or whether that was civil rights activism or a number of other types of activism, including education. So the fact that you have put together this team of allies who are very much into the activist space and fighting against these corporate, in my mind, corporate demons and all along those lines. I just appreciate the work that you do and the work that everybody else is doing as well. So definitely wanted to shout out to everybody, because sometimes even when y'all are doing y'all show, I have oftentimes finished the news show as well as economics and media Monday, but I oftentimes will pop in and be listening in the background. So I've heard many of your stories and am a big fan of what I've heard, and have become, y'all don't know this, but fans and friends of y'all's. And I'm just definitely admiring the work that y'all are doing to take on this corporate giant and all along those lines. So I just wanted to add that bit of context. And Kim, just really quickly, and then I'll be quiet and everything. We also have to give a shout out to Mr. Sean, because the engineer is here as well, and he's in the background. If he wants to pop on camera.
Oh, yeah, if
the
Sean's
other
here,
part
absolutely.
is
Hi,
here as well. So I
Sean.
did see Sean here as well. So Sean, if you want to get on camera, because a lot of times this cannot be done without the support of Sean.
We all go incognito sometimes, but Sean is our engineer. Without him, we wouldn't be doing this today, because we had to make shift changes on our schedule, and he worked past midnight like I did last night on things. Let's be, I want to make sure that we get everyone who has taken the time to join us. Let's start introducing them. Irene, I'll let you do the honors, but meanwhile, I want people to know that, we are going to take our favorite artwork. If you brought a poster, we're going to vote on it. And I will take that poster and put it on a mug, just like this one, and send it to you as thanks for being participating. But you can also go buy this one at our store. You can go to podtv.tv and go to our store, or you can go to this link, and we will be sharing the profits to go towards what we need to do here as an advocate. I also want to say, Irene, I don't know if you've added up how much we've helped people resolve their problems, but I would say it's close to $1 million worth of resolutions that we've taken off of people's backs, whether it's getting their debt canceled or their obligations canceled, so that they can live the rest of their lives in a little bit of peace. Because as you have mentioned, there are military people who suffer, people who are elderly and dying, have adverse effects in their life, and the timeshares don't care. They don't care that you just need to stop and take care of some personal business for a while. And I thank you, Irene, for taking on these problems when nobody else seemed to care. And I'm sure all of these other people do too. And, my eyes tear up every time I think about some of these things. A veteran waiting for a lung transplant, and they denied him due to hardship. I mean, we've got military families that are suffering because if they go into default, then, they might lose their jobs or their contract work. And that's just not fair. So I'm going to let you take the realm, because we have an hour. And if you guys can go out and purchase the mug, I'm going to be making T-shirts too. So I'm going to step back and let.
Well, we only have 52 minutes, so we'll hurry, because we have 14 people are expected to join us. And I think Taya is at work, and we've divided into 4 groups. So I'm going to start with group 1, and let me give just a little synopsis of each one. I've asked Taya here today to explain the Service Members Civil Relief Act. And there we have Anne Marie. Thank you, Anne Marie. I don't know if we have Brooke. I just called her because we're really supporting Brooke and Andrew today, because I learned our first 4 families are active duty military, and we learned on our show that he has actually left the Air National Guard. After 12 years of service, he was planning to serve 20 years because of a Westgate default, in which he was sold for a young couple with a 6-year-old a 4-bedroom as a rental investment opportunity. And they were on the show just a couple weeks ago. No, they were just on the show well, anyway, it's so hard for me to keep up with all the episodes. But in brief, we have Taya, who served, if my memory serves, 11 years with the Army National Guard, and then switched to the Army because the Army will pay for her law degree. We have Andrew and Brooke that are in default. They're devastated. They're devastated. And when we talked about these cases and then showed the trailer for the Queen of Versailles stage show, it was disgusting. We had Gabby cannot make it today. Gabby bought from Hilton Grand Vacations. She was not deceived, but when you get deployed in the Guard, your income can drop significantly, which happened to them, and there's just no way they can afford it. And when she called, she felt so bad she couldn't make it. She said, Anne Marie, she really wants to meet with you and talk with you because she also bought from Hilton Grand Vacation. So Taya, go ahead. Let me first say that there's two things going on. Don, your phone is ringing. Uh-oh. There's two things going on with the military. The first is the Military Lending Act, and the Military Lending Act prohibits arbitration. There have been four developers sued, accused of violating the Military Lending Act. We have an active duty service family that lost in arbitration disputing $12,000, and they lost in arbitration, and the judgment against them was $66,000. That's just not right. So Taya, go ahead and explain the Service Member Relief Act. Well, I'll tell your father, Lisa, to get off the phone.
I appreciate it, Irene. Thank you. She mentioned that I was in the Army National Guard for 11 years, and that's true. I did switch over to active duty more recently, and that is what prompted me to look a little bit more into SCRA. So a lot of service members are very aware of what SCRA is and already know kind of how to navigate the system so that they get the most benefit out of that act. But when it comes to timeshares specifically, a lot of the developers don't understand it because they don't deal with it a lot, or they just refuse to comply altogether, which is something that I've kind of ran into. So first, I'd like to say I'm not a lawyer. I want to be, but I'm not. Everything I say should definitely be talked through by counsel if it's something you believe you're a victim of. But SCRA, when it comes to timeshares, the biggest thing that people want to see is that interest rate drop, right? Because a lot of our contracts are 19, 20, 22%, and that is outrageous. I forget who you said was in something or in one of in a contract, Irene, who got deployed. What was her name?
Well, Anne Marie, she's with us today right now. Mm-hmm. Her husband is deployed. You're in Oklahoma, Anne Marie?
Yes.
Yeah, and Gabby, who had a tornado came through, so she lost power. But her husband is in Saudi Arabia, okay. And she's the one where her income dropped, and they can't afford it. So they weren't necessarily deceived. But we talk about the timeshare product is just not appropriate for the military because you cannot sell a timeshare with a loan outstanding.
Right. So this may apply to them. It may not. It really depends. When it comes to SCRA and it comes to the military in general, when we go on active duty orders, there is a few different kinds of active duty orders that we have. So specifically with National Guard, you can be on AGR orders, which are active duty. It just simply means you're full time with the National Guard, or you could get deployed, which is another kind of active duty. When you get deployed, you might be deployed by your governor, or you might be deployed by the president. When it comes to SCRA, the orders that make the big difference are when you're ordered by the president to go somewhere and to do something. That's when SCRA really kicks in. So in my case, I was AGR with Michigan National Guard. I was on full-time active duty orders, but it was only through the governor. The governor is the one who signed my orders, who said that I was good to serve full-time. When I switched over to active duty, that was a change of contract. I was now under the president's orders. So when I tried getting a hold of Wyndham to use those SCRA benefits, they considered my time with the National Guard to be for me to like forfeit those rights, which is incorrect. And I've been fighting them for months about it, trying to get them to understand that the orders that I was under before do not qualify for SCRA. But now that I'm on active duty orders, I should be getting those entitlements. And they've flat out just ignored me at this point. So that's kind of the lowdown on my situation, and something that I think other service members should consider. They should understand a little bit better. And I don't think they do. I think a lot of creditors don't understand it either. And it's a very intricate law, something that a lot of lawyers probably don't look into either, because it seems to kind of take care of itself in most cases. But in this case, developers don't want to look at it, they don't want to respect it, and they don't want to comply.
Okay, we have to remove someone before we can let someone else on, but Brooke is backstage, she said. And before you go, Taya, Brooke and Andrew, I would like for them to meet you if our stage managers could find Brooke. But and okay, so because it's saying the studio is limited to 10 people, but my comment to what you said was, I think you're going to make a hell of a lawyer someday.
Thank you.
And maybe it'll be JAG. And there is Andrew and Brooke. I love it when things work out thanks to such technically skilled people backstage. So Andrew, and this whole show today is really about you, because Carl resolved his Westgate dispute by poking the bear after a threat of a lawsuit. He was forging ahead. There's many different kinds of courage. We have Anne Marie on with us today up at the far right. Her husband is Army National Guard, and she's not in default, but she is not happy about having to keep this. So one of our board members is very good at supporting people. What we want you to do, we are not going to give up on your situation, because there has to be a lawmaker somewhere, a regulator that cares. Kim and I were completely blown away that you said 60% or 70% of the reason that you are not re-enlisting with the Guard was because of your security clearance. Now, I know we just had you on the show, but I can feel the desperation in your voice. So just introduce yourself and let us know what the status is right now in your life. You must be looking for employment. I think you're still unemployed. And what's the future hold right now?
Yeah, so it's not been fun. It's been stressful because we've been trying to, not just employment, but trying to find a house. That's been a huge thing, where even where we're currently renting, we had the biggest issue of the fact that credit is low, and even trying to rent is a problem. Doesn't really solve the the word I'm trying to really elaborate, but basically, like, it's now we're stressing just to find a place to live.
And it's not even just that the credit score is low because of them, it's that it's completely hostage. Anytime that they check our credit, mine especially, it says that it's basically being hostage by Westgate. Yeah. So that usually, like, it ends up on a bad outcome for us. And
the fact that you were sold a 4-bedroom with the ability to rent and earn income, which is impossible. So I appreciate you. Now, I have divided this show into 4 15-minute sections, and we're already 5 minutes into the second. And so, Rhonda, if Taya, if somebody else comes on, I guess we'll have Taya go back to work. But let's go ahead and bring on Bob. I think Bob is with us today with Holiday Inn Club Vacation is what they purchased. And we have Rhonda, who is also Holiday Inn Club Vacation. So I see Rhonda and I see Bob. So, and don't buy, they lie. Is that a poster? Bob, is that a poster? Are you muted? Okay, well,
there, I'm unmuted.
Okay, and you weren't here to see it, but they have Kim has designed a coffee cup that has that on it. And so I think you might have just won the poster contest for having the matching with there. But you also, can you share with us your occupation? Because with Rhonda's that we won't even talk about, but she does have a security clearance. Can you share your background?
Well, I'm the youngest of 10, and I joined the military in 1988. I retired in 2014. I had 26 years as a medic in the Air Force Reserves, 4 deployments, 25 states, 14 countries I've been to. I was 23 years as a nurse in a state prison, and my wife and I went to a timeshare presentation in August of 22 with Holiday Inn. We purchased a very small package. 8 months later, we went back down. We went from the first one was South Carolina. Then we went to Williamsburg the following spring, April of 23. They said, oh, no, you don't have enough points. You need to upgrade. So we were told to upgrade to use. But for more than 4 weeks, we could not see our membership online. We could not. They said we could sell back the property if we weren't happy. We also tried 6 weeks to schedule a date, and they said you need to schedule 9 months out. Well, if there's a big, huge database of dates, you should be able to pick next week. So basically, we were scammed, and we quit payment in December. And I want to tell the young couple that as long as you can show, because I just talked to Irene about this a few days ago, as long as you've had pretty good credit and you keep contact of all of your filings with the Attorney General and filings with the timeshare, just keep all that in a folder. I believe somebody had told me recently, I think it was Patty. Was it Patty?
Yes.
She was able to purchase a new home by showing that she has a good credit history besides the timeshare. Am I right, Patty?
Yes. You just have to show that you were actively pursuing trying to show that you were scammed, and that's why you wanted to get out of the timeshare. And so as long as you show that you made effort, and they most real estate companies and escrow, they are well aware of all the timeshare scams that are going on, and people who are trying to buy a home, a lot of them who have timeshares and they can't make their payments, they know. Defaulting is their last option because they can't make their payments, and just because they were scammed into buying the timeshare.
Well,
So
and if
yes,
we can bring,
I was successful in buying a home
Yeah,
knowing
let
that
me
we have to
interrupt you
talk to.
because I want to stay on schedule and bring Rhonda is also Holiday Inn, and Patty and Bob and Rhonda. And Rhonda's, what she has gone through is unbelievable. So we can find Rhonda until she gets here. There she is. And two things. Number one, they told you can rent, I think, but they also had
Yes.
a bizarre illustrations about maintenance fee increases. So go ahead and give us, we have another 5 minutes for this group.
We were owners from the early 2000s, and we never upgraded until 2022. And we were thinking, well, maybe we would like to have enough points or whatever we needed to be able to go every year for a week. We had previously owned a week every other year. And so he convinced us to sell them our deeded week with points and get just points. And we thought everything was fine with that. He said, of course, your maintenance fees, we asked about that. And they were like, yeah, they'll go up a little bit because you're going from 1 week every year. But after that, I said, will they increase similar to the way they have for about the last 20 years? He said, oh, yeah, it should be similar. Like, okay, that's fine. We were happy with that. He did say if there's any issue with that or you can't use it for the year or what have you, you can rent it out and help with those maintenance fees. But we were like, well, doesn't sound like that's going to be an issue. Well, it was. It more than quadrupled in that year. And so we actually went to an owner update about 13 months later when we had finally been able to book a stay. And the gentleman, as we were telling our story and why we were concerned because our maintenance fees were so high, he's writing out, a list of about 10 dates with numbers. And he turns it around and says, did they not show you this schedule during your last update? And we're like, what is that schedule? And he said, that's going to be your maintenance fee schedule for the next 10 years. And then that'll continue in perpetuity. And it was doubling every year. And it quadrupled. We were terrified. And he said, that will be forever and your heirs will inherit that as well. So of course we were, quite taken aback.
Thank you for sharing that. And you're frozen on the screen, but we could hear you just fine.
Sorry.
And again, thank you for taking it to the limit. I know you filed with the Tennessee Attorney General, and you're going to keep on the proactive approach to find a resolution for you as well. One person that has gone beyond the call of duty to protect, try to expose this is our TARTA board secretary, Sherida, up in God's country, Minnesota. And Earl is a 100% disabled Navy veteran. I don't know if Michelle Jabour is backstage. She is a former Hilton and Diamond sales agent, and she sued Diamond but refused to settle. So she's a very proactive advocate for us. But Sherida, can you hear us? And go ahead and tell us again your vacation village, because you have proof of deception as far as I'm concerned.
Yep, we bought a vacation village in 2019 in Virginia. It's Colonies at Williamsburg. And our sales agent said that we could sell, or she had a friend who would sell our Westgate timeshare so that we could pay for the Colonies timeshare, and that her friend could also rent the bonus weeks every year to pay for the maintenance fees. So we hired him and paid him $199 and $299 to rent the week and to sell the Westgate. And of course, there was no interest at all. So I have been writing 6 CEOs at Colonies at Williamsburg for the last 2+ years. And I've added Congress people in Virginia to those letters. And now I'm also writing to various programs, ABC News, hopefully get some interest on our story. And with the help of Irene, I've gotten my Florida real estate license, and now I work with a broker to rent and sell Marriotts, actually helping people who want to buy this product or who want to sell this product or want to rent it. And we have happy customers. We don't have people that are living a nightmare.
And I would like to ask our technicians backstage. Rhonda is frozen on the screen, and the time is not cutting down. So it's been stuck at 25 minutes and 13 seconds for about 5 minutes. I just want to confirm that we're still, the show is still live. Maybe I can put.
It's live here.
Is Kim here? I can't put.
Yes.
Kim? Is Kim here? Well, let's keep going. This is a live.
I think.
She said
Okay.
yes.
Okay, Kim, can Kim hear me? No, she can't hear me either. You see where it's stuck at 25 minutes and 13
Yes.
seconds. But, well, even if.
Yeah, she says it's live.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's go ahead. I don't know if Michelle Jabor is backstage or not, since this is the maximum, but let's go ahead and bring on, now I need my phone to see where we're at. Okay, so we have.
We're at 31 minutes.
What?
We're at 31 minutes.
Oh, 31 minutes. Okay.
That's what I have.
Okay, great. Thank you. I don't know why maybe it's just my screen is frozen, but as long as we can continue here and we know that we're being recorded, that's fine. And I don't know if Michelle Jabor is backstage or not, but I do know Lisa Parker Hayray is here. So Lisa, you've stayed at our timeshare as my daughter and your Don's daughter,
Sure.
And fellow tattoo enthusiast with Kim, getting tattooed from Michelle. And Michelle was hoping to go to Delaware Tuesday, but she's having some dog sitting problems. But you've heard me tell bits and pieces, and now you've met live as a psychologist. And unfortunately, Joan was supposed to join us. She's a psychological examiner that could help us figure this out. How do you feel about what you've heard? And I know you'll never buy a timeshare, but what do you think of all this?
I find it heartbreaking to hear the stories of how people have been deceived and the hardship financially and emotionally that people have had to endure because of the timeshare industry. My heart goes out to all of the people that are certainly on this show, but all of the people who are affected by this, who aren't given accurate information. I've also been so impressed with your efforts, Kim and Irene, to try to bring this to life and to try to help people navigate this so that they can get out from the ties and the obligations that are thrust upon them by the deception of the timeshare industry.
Thank you for that. And another benefit for listening to everyone today is you can provide some psychological help for me, because I certainly, and your father here, because he's been putting up with this since 2016, hearing usually just one side of these conversations, but from time to time he's been able to hear both sides. Don, you want to say anything?
No, I have nothing to say except I'm glad to meet all of you. And yes, I deal with this day in and day out. It's something that Irene has decided to do, and I help whenever I can. So thank you all very much.
And you can go back to your computer if you would like, or you can stay here.
Yeah, I'll go back. Bye.
You're done.
Yes. So Lisa, I thank you for being here, because I don't know if you would have been here for 50 this time. So I would like right now to talk to Sheila. And Sheila is our board president, and we have been together since, I think, 2016. And she's been involved with at least 3 different timeshares, I think. And the worst right now is Club Exploria. So Sheila, I'd like for you to talk about some of the experiences you've had with the Florida Attorney General's office. And I remember one that sticks out in my mind. When Rhonda said that, you know, they gave an illustration showing how her fees would double. If that's on a piece of paper, they call it the pencil pitch. And we had a sales agent with 5, let's see if Michelle Jabor is backstage. She just texted me. Maybe we might be breaking the system here. Okay, I was there, but I need to get back to, oh, she cannot stay longer. I guess we couldn't. Yeah, okay, she has, and there's, that's probably a scam resale company. So, okay, where was I? So Sheila, so they call those pencil pitches. And I just had a new complaint come in from that sales agent from when he was at Wyndham.
Oh,
And before, but it was almost identical from one company to the next. And when you turned that into the Florida Attorney General, if I remember correctly, they said, well, we don't know if you took that or if they gave it to you, meaning that evidence obtained legally is inadmissible. I mean, we weren't in court, but it really makes you wonder, what side is the Florida Attorney General on?
well, first of all, they believed every word I said. They saw the pencil pitch and they just could not believe that that company would allow that person to be working there. And we had others that had been duped with the same thing. Then eventually I kept fighting. We did go and protest in front of the DBPR.
Even Don held up signs.
Even Don, yep, Patty, Don, we all were there, and we even tried to go up and knock on their door inside the building, but they would not come out.
Well, no, they closed the office for the day, I think, because we were there.
Yes, I think so. Yeah. Anyway, eventually the attorneys for that company said that no, she was wrong. She just read it wrong. So then the Attorney General, DBPR, believed them over me. And we had so much proof over that company. And yes, I feel bad. I did go over to Wyndham one time and I met with someone there who knew the salesperson that I had when they worked at Wyndham. And he was let go for the same reasons.
Well, and you told me that they had recorded him for 2 weeks.
Oh, yes.
And he never made a sale.
That's correct. He never.
And he's one of the top producers, and he's still working there today.
Yes, he is. And yeah, he did not make a sale. It was the company that came in and recorded him and watched him for 2 weeks. And then as soon as they left, he made 2 sales that day. So, yeah.
That's terrible. Now, we have 5, we have, for this group, we have 2 more minutes. So, and now that we're frozen on screen, but we're troopers, we're going to keep going on. I don't know if Judy Carlson is with us or not. Is Judy here from Missouri? Okay, if Judy is not here, let me fill in for her, because we have the industry now says they're targeting the millennials, but there are so many seniors. So we had a show where all 4 were widows, and there's nothing more devastating than, including Kim has lost her husband, and so Judy was we've got the biggest scam going with Blue Green and suspending accounts for renting. Families that have been with Blue Green for years and years and years, told they should buy more points to rent. She calls Sell My Timeshare Now. They charge her $10,000 to list her points. She said, how about $1? And they said, that's a good starting point. Well, points sell between 10 cents and 30 cents. Then they offered her a maintenance fee relief program, and that caused her account to be suspended. On yesterday's show, we had Tom, who bought from Wyndham, and same thing with Wyndham. He has been issued a cease and desist, even though the sales agent gave him the name of the person to contact and how to rent, went through all of that. And now, after buying probably more than $100,000 worth of points for over 20 years, they are now basically you're upgraded to default. So we've heard from Sheila, we've heard from Lisa. Judy is not here, and I want Patty. We have Patty here now. We have one. Candy may not make it because she has a golf tournament and she didn't know she'd be back in time. But is Cassandra or Maybelle backstage? Is either of them backstage? Can we just do a roll call? And I think we still have Sherida. We have Rhonda. Can you still hear us? And I don't know. And Bob. Okay. So let's see. Is there anyone that is backstage that we haven't heard from? No?
Kim is saying that no one else is there.
Okay, all right. So with that, so let me just go over from the top who we had with us today. We have Taya, active duty Army. We have Andrew, who purchased from Wyndham. We have Andrew and Brooke. And Mari can support our efforts by just some of the technical aspects of disputing. So I suggested that you file with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Can you come tell us, Andrew or Brooke, whoever handled it, you filed with the Florida Attorney General. Did you hear back from them?
Not initially, but we got to a law firm there that was handling it for a while. And they got to the point where they actually, because it went to a class act, and then forgot all the minor details, but basically they had to drop it because of resources on their end, and I had to talk to them again about those details. I should have an email saved and with more of that information, but basically because of the situation that I'm in, they couldn't continue it on as a class act, even though I was one of the first ones on that list, due to the fact that I was National Guard and not active duty. And I even told them about my security clearance because, this is probably a year after that where I was due for renewal, and then I was just hitting my 10-year mark and going to be re-enlisting. But where I'm really changing it now is basically about 70 to 80% now, where it was jeopardized, my security clearance preventing me, just as my little poster here made, for being able to continue on to retirement at 20 years. If I were to be able to continue after my 10 years, which again, that was a huge obstacle and very disgusting. I'll just say that, where because of this timeshare, I couldn't. It was hard for me.
See, when I've talked to Brooke, I've heard that in your voice, in her voice, And, you know, you're in the military, so people in the military keep a bold front. But this is why we cannot give up. Patty, you filed with in Nevada and in Florida, sales agents have real estate licenses. And so the other thing we want Andrew to do and Brooke is to file a complaint against their sales agents. You file a complaint with the Florida Attorney General, but in Nevada, if you do that, they forward you to the Nevada Real Estate Division. You filed a complaint against that real estate agent, didn't you? Is Patty here?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We did. We did all the filings.
And what was the response from them?
Oh, it's been a while. I don't recall, but.
Well, I tell you what, let me ask Sherida. Sherida, are you still with us?
Yes.
Okay, so Sherida and I went through the Florida real estate course together. And there's the Florida, the DBPR, the Department of Business and Professional Regulation, because they're professional regulation. So they basically regulate licensees. So we can file a complaint against that sales agent. There's also FREC, the Florida Real Estate Commission. And they say that even if you withdraw your complaint, they continue to investigate. Now, it wasn't until I took the real estate course that I realized we should have been doing this since 2016. So, Sherida, was my memory serving me well with when you take a test, 90% of it evaporates in about 2 weeks. But does that sound right?
Sounds right. What I remember, what you're talking about, is my gigantic chart trying to remember that whole process.
Okay, and did you file a complaint against Ed McGee because he is a licensed real estate agent in Virginia, isn't he?
Yes, but I did not do that. I haven't even contacted him. I've only been contacting colonies.
Okay, so Andrew and Brooke, we are not going to give this up. And I have met no bigger fighter in my life until I met first Sheila and Sherida and Kim and so many others that have contributed to our effort. So we are not going to give up. And you have a 6-year-old, correct?
Yeah.
I kept my phone on. Hello, this is Irene. Okay, hold on a second. Let me put you on speakerphone, okay? And this is Brittany. Okay, Brittany, you called me, and if you're uncomfortable, I can call you later, but I am on a live broadcast with 10 other timeshare victims, and Kim has always wanted to do this. She wanted to put and Kim resolved a timeshare dispute. So we would be eternally grateful if you would mind, this is the first time I've heard from Brittany, if you would mind sharing with 10 other people right now that are going through what you're going through. Are you okay talking to me about it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes, great. Okay. And so this is what I do. And I'm sure there's plenty of developers, attorneys that watched us are interested in what we do. So what timeshare are you calling about?
I'm calling in regarding Holiday Inn vacation.
Oh my gosh, Rhonda, are you still there? Rhonda? Okay, we're having some transmission problem. Bob, are you still here?
Oh, I'm here.
Okay, Bob is with us, and they're disputing Holiday Inn, and we have Patty, who's one of our co-founders. Her family co-founded our nonprofit, and she disputed another timeshare company successfully but she is with Holiday Inn, and she's happy with Holiday Inn because she started about 20 years ago. So go ahead and tell us. I always start everybody the same way. What, and you know, this must be divine intervention because our guests are frozen, so it's a little difficult keeping this going, and this is making really good use of our time. What state are you calling from, first of all?
Missouri.
Missouri. Okay, that's we have my husband's daughter Lisa is on here. I'm a St. Louis born and bred. Are you St. Louis or in the country?
Kansas City.
You're in Kansas City. Okay. And how did you first become involved with Holiday Inn?
So I took my parents on vacation about 2017, 2018, somewhere around there, because we got an offer to come down for a couple of days. Didn't really know what that was, but we were like, okay, let's go on this offer. My parents didn't really get out much, and so we went down there, and we are kind of.
And where were you attending the presentation?
We did our presentation at Orange Lake, so we went to Orlando.
Okay, Orange Lake in Orlando. Orange Lake has changed their name to Holiday Inn Club Vacation, but you were in Orlando. Now, I don't know if you can be heard too easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you the questions, and then I might interrupt you to go ahead and let people that can hear me. So can you go ahead and just jump to what you purchased?
We purchased a used point system. I'm not really sure all of there, but it was a used point system. I know it was about 18,000.
Okay, well, there's no such thing as a wait a minute. There's no such thing as a used point system. So I'm betting that what they did was they said, "Oh, somebody just turned something in." Would that be correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And did you put down a down payment?
No.
Did you finance it?
Yes.
Do you know at what interest rate?
It was a really high interest rate. I want to say like close to 20%, maybe. Close to
20%. Okay. And the big question is, why are you not happy?
Because we realized that the end result isn't going to be what it was told to us it would be, and that it will be an ongoing thing, and we haven't been able to use it. Why can't you use it? Because when we called I haven't used it in a while, but the last time I did use it, I called and they said they were sold out, and they were saying that they didn't have any rooms available, but there was rooms posted like on other websites.
Okay, this is really important because Patty, and maybe it's because you started so many years ago, and you're a very high level member. This is a complaint like with Bob and with Rhonda that first time buyers and also with Wyndham, problems with availability. So, you know, I'm pretty good at being the devil's advocate. I could be a robot auto denier, but, you know, their response would be, well, we have, 300,000 customers that have been with us for years. So Patty, can you comment on a statement that you can never find availability?
True, but I was originally a deed owner, and that was like almost over 30 years ago. So when we converted to the points, because that's where Orange Lake did, because we bought in Orange Lake over 30 years ago. So what we bought, the last time I went to go visit Orange Lake, I went to an update, and then they went to the point system. So I converted what I owned into points. Well, luckily, because I had a 3-bedroom and I owned 2 of them, they were worth a lot of points. So when I did that, I didn't pay a lot of money like everybody else's because I was an original owner. And so it worked for me because I knew how to work the system. And because it put me at a high point level, like I'm a platinum, I'm considered an elite platinum. So that's pretty high up there. So I rarely have any issues booking anything. And I also convert my points into the hotel system. And I stay at a lot of the Holiday Inn's affiliated hotels using my points. And as being a Premier Elite, I also get 1 week complimentary to stay to use at any of the resorts. So really, I can use the complimentary resort and the complimentary week to use. And then the other points I just bank and use it for the hotels.
Well, let me stop you there because would you be now? Have you, Brittany? Has your family ever bought a timeshare before?
No.
Okay, so I always question, like
Yeah,
some
Irene.
what?
Sorry to interrupt. Kim is saying that she has no access to go live right now.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But I thought we're
Okay.
having such a good discussion here.
Yeah.
We would.
She said that she'll stop the live feed, but she can record more.
Oh, okay. That's fine because this is helping all of us, me, our guests, and you, because this
We're
is
live
like
now, she says.
Oh, okay. So this is like the very beginning of our process. So I'm asking, I always wonder if maybe my husband and I have owned timeshares since 1984. And so I question whether you're maybe not using. So Patty, would you be willing for me to schedule a time for where you could go over what Brittany has and see now is a possibility if you could find the use of the points and it would get you where you want to go, is one option the ability to make the best of it?
For me?
Yeah.
Not really. I don't use the service at all. So I don't know if it would be to make the best of it. I would prefer to just get out of it if possible.
Okay, but availability will not get you out of it. The developers have worked, it's not easy. Sometimes, it is easy. It depends on how credible your complaint is. But availability tends to not be a reason for them to cancel a contract. The reason I'm
availability is a part of it. My fuller complaint is that we were told at the end of once we were done with payments that we would no longer have to make any more payments and that we owned property and that we would be able to utilize the property as ongoing and do family vacations whenever we wanted. And it wasn't marketed to us as a timeshare. I was told to avoid anything that mentioned timeshare, so it wasn't marketed to us like that. It was told that we would have the ability to have this property and that it wasn't a timeshare, and they promised that it wasn't a timeshare or anything like that. We were told that we would be able to have our own property.
Do you have the names of the sales agents?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I have like the paperwork and I might have a card involved somewhere in there.
And have you approached Holiday Inn with your complaint?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, this is wonderful, and so we don't want to just be a poison in the well. And Brittany had no idea that she would be on our show today. It's called Timeshare Solution or Surrender. Now, Bob is in default. They stopped paying. I think, Bob, was it about a year ago?
It was December, and I just posted in the chat that two of my credit scores are still very good. TransUnion is 758, Equifax is 763. It's the third one. It's what's the third one? looked at it.
Experian, Equifax,
Yes.
Transamerica.
Experian, they're the ones that reported it to my credit union, who actually just canceled my credit card. My credit union called me 6 weeks ago and said, "Hey, your credit card's being sold on the dark web. We're going to reissue you another one." A couple weeks went by, and I tried to renew the credit card that I got in the mail, and it wouldn't renew. So I called the credit union, and they said that it's being canceled for right now because of my credit score. But yet my two others on Credit Karma are above 750, which is still very good.
Yeah, and so what we're trying to get at is the first step in our process. And I'm a retired stockbroker, and after I retired, I became a CASA volunteer court-appointed special advocate for children in foster care. Then I became a paid supervisor, learning how to write court reports. So the first step is to get a clear, concise, written report. And there is one line in your contract that says, "I did not rely on oral representation to make my purchase." One attorney we interviewed on the show was quoted in the New York Times as calling that the license to lie clause. And what kind of a company just has the fallback, "Oh, we're not responsible for what our people say"? So you write up that report. And I'm not a lawyer, so I can't give legal advice, but I can review your report. We can have members helping members. So we'll have Bob review it, Rhonda can review it, and then you will forward that to Holiday Inn. They will probably say, "Too bad," as they did. Now, Rhonda had an extremely credible complaint. They actually showed her on a screen how her maintenance fees would double. They would double every year. I mean, that's a horrible complaint. And so I think hers is even stronger, and that she could rent it out. So we will have you compose that, and then you will send that to Holiday Inn. Now, they are headquartered in Florida. You bought in Florida. And so you will file a complaint with the Florida Attorney General. They will forward it to Holiday Inn. Holiday Inn will say, "Too bad." But by doing that, Westgate, when Carl did a public records request, with Westgate, there were 585 complaints. That's more than enough to launch an investigation. And nearly half of them were pitching the rental scam. So that may be a lower form of proof, but it's important to get this on the record. Now, if your only choice is to default, is that something that you would not consider? And I certainly understand if that's the case.
And I would consider it.
You would consider it. And Bob, if you had to do it over again, would you still stop making payments?
I would. In fact, I filed May 2nd with the Florida Attorney General. I still haven't heard back. I just filed with Virginia a few days ago, and today I'm going to file with South Carolina.
Well, and you brought up an important point, because whether you send it to Holiday Inn or Wyndham or the Florida Attorney General, if you don't hear back, you can refile it, because that is a complaint or comment section on the Florida Attorney General. And you just start out with, "I filed this on May 2nd and I did not hear back. I am refiling this." Not everybody has the time or temperament or patience. But when we see Sheila, who it took 3 years to resolve her dispute, and it took Patty 3 years to resolve her dispute, and the only reason it resolved is an executive reached out to me. I think they got tired of 500 complaints sent to the timeshare lobbyists and just pounding them, and said, "Okay, give me a list of people that you care about the most." And I gave him a list of 19 families, and he resolved 18, unfortunately retired. But the executive he replaced is now an executive at another developer, and we just got an amazing resolution. And I'm thinking I'm enemy number one with these developers. And I said, okay, she's gonna know my style. So she asked if somebody's helping, tell her that our goal is to everybody, that almost half the people that call me have lost money to an exit company. One person just 2 days ago lost $8,900. The week before, $12,000. The week before, $17,000. A doctor yesterday called. He was going to sign up with another one. So, and they offer a money back guarantee, but getting that money back, if they haven't changed their name, half the time, more than half the time, the only choice is to default. And they say, well, that's a guarantee. Or they'll blame it on you. You were supposed to send some paperwork, but you didn't. So make sure that you don't turn to the internet and call one of these listing companies that will overinflate the price to justify your fee. So I think I know that this show was supposed to be from 11:30 to 12:30. It's now 12:35.
Well, we used up a little bit of time introducing people, and I have the blessings to flex a little bit. And this is good content. And I want to thank everyone. And Irene, I'm going to let you kind of finish up. And I want everyone to, shout out your name and what your message is to the world. And Brooke and Andrew, it was hard for me to even come on after I heard you. I will fight. I'm tired of this. If I have to hear another story, I don't know what's going to happen to me. But I am going to go to DC after this, and I'm going to fight. If I have to shake some trees and I've already got people mad at me. But if I have to, I will, because no one who served our country should have to go through this.
Are they mad at you? Are they mad at you because of our show or for something else?
No, you know my political stand. So I get a lot of hate mail and had some attempted break-ins recently.
Well,
I am not going to tolerate this anymore. I'm done. But I want to thank everyone. Please, everyone, go buy a mug. For all of you who put a poster up, if you send it through Irene to me, I'll print it on a mug and send it to you, because I want to thank you for your support. But you know what? We can't win if we don't unite. We have to stick together, members helping members. And Irene, I'm going to give the ball to you, and then we're going to have to wrap. But thank you.
And then next Monday, we are going to do a rerun, because 5 of us, including Sheila and her husband and my husband, we're going to Delaware to attend a court. And then and so we're going to rerun that. But also, Andrew, I had a suggestion a while ago, and I don't think you followed up with it. So after this show, I'm going to call you. And Brittany, thank you so much. This was really, it couldn't have been planned better. And so let me get a 5-minute breather here. And then I'm going to call Brittany back right away. And then I'm going to call Brooke and Andrew. So does anybody have anything to say before we sign off today? We had no idea how this was going to work. We now learn that we blew the system, but
it still works in the back. Even people don't understand, the systems individually record everyone. So even when you see things freezing, we're still recording.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's great. Technology is awesome. All right, everyone, let's cheer. Thank you, Irene.
Great. Thank you.
They lie.
And let's don't give up. Don't give up.
Don't surrender.
Yeah, don't give up.
And, everyone, thank you. We'll see you next Monday. Irene and I are going to be going live from the courthouse, but you're going to see a rerun, but you'll see. Take care.